We are live.
Yes, we are.
Day 14, 15, day 15 of our 21-day challenge of speaking our wants. And yesterday and some other days, speaking a lot of other stuff too. Huh? uh, anyway, so what are our wants for today?
Um, I want us to have a full clarity of our vision and to be um focused and organized with the direction that we're going with our business. That's what I want.
No, it sounds like a good thing to work on. Yeah, I've been thinking about a lot of like, am I really putting my wants out there? Like, because again, going back to a lot of times when we're thinking of something, we automatically go to the I don't want, right? And it makes me think of in the past that having certain conversations, like at the time, you don't like think about what you're saying, right? And I remember in the past talking to someone that I was like, and this is a long time ago because this is before I even got married, right?
Mhm.
Dating someone. And I had just like kind of gotten out of a crappy relationship and stuff like that.
Oh,
And um saying to them, I don't think I'm gonna ever get married. I don't think I'll ever have any more children. I already had some children, right? I had a couple of children. They didn't have any. And just, like a lot of stuff that I probably really didn't mean because obviously I went on to get married after that and have more children, right? Um, so it was more based on what I didn't want in a relationship, right?
yeah.
Didn't want like to happen again, stuff like
Right.
that.
And
So
so you said you didn't want this, and therefore you attracted it.
yeah. So obviously me and that person, didn't go very far. And the funny thing is they kind of said the same thing, right? Like, yeah, I don't know if I'll get married and have children and all that. And they did, right? Also, which is awesome. But it was just funny because we both kind of told each other different things and then went our separate ways to go and do those things we said we weren't gonna do, right? So just going back to thinking about the things that, again, when I chose to be negative about things, instead of positive, and think about the things, what what I really want, what do I want, and from relationships, from anything, right? Out of life compared to what I don't want or what I already had and didn't,
Mhm.
whatever. So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I like that.
So I want to always be mindful of the things I'm saying and putting out there.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you do. You do have to be careful about what you're putting out into the universe, and that's why we don't bring up politics, we don't bring up religion, we don't put that stuff out there to talk about it. It's no one's business what I think about religion and politics, and it's none of my business what you think about it. And all that stuff does is, in my experience, divide people, right? So you don't talk about that stuff. You be very careful about the stuff you do talk about, right? And I mean, it should be motivational, it should be inspiring, it should be real too.
Sure.
I don't, there's so many freaking cookie cutter podcasts, mentorships, everything else that talk about the wins, talk about how great it's going to be and all of that, just sell you on it, right? but nobody talks about this kind of stuff, the struggle and, the little parts that add up that take you to where you want to be, right? So,
True. We
I
don't
found,
realize that the
yeah,
ripple effect of things that we've done in the past, right? That have come into our lives now, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like there's so much that has brought us to this point. I was actually I do think about the past a lot, not like because I want to be there or anything, like when a certain situation happens, right? And I'll notice like, well, this is similar to something. How did I handle it before? What was the outcome? You know, can I do it differently now? Things like that, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's the only time I'm looking at the past, like because there's something I need to change, right? That I did then, and I'm still doing it. And I know that it's not what I should be doing, that I need to change.
How you do everything is how you do anything.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's
yeah,
more of an evaluation of my own, I guess, growing, right? Learning and growing.
mhm,
So
yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good. And we should always be doing that. We should always be looking at, you know, what am I doing that's moving the needle forward? And what am I doing that is not moving the needle at all or moving it backwards? And I think if you really sit there and think about it, you can you can come up with a list of things that are positive that you're doing and things that are negative that you're doing. And a lot of times getting rid of the negative things, it's not as simple as it sounds because these are habits, right? So you have to now change a bunch of habits, right? But the way you change habits is not by getting rid of the habit. You change habits by introducing a different habit in its place, right?
yeah, essentially, yeah, that's what we're doing all the time is changing over from one habit to another, whether it be healthy or not, you
Right,
know?
right. And isn't it's like if you do something more than 3 times, it's now becoming a habit. It's like, once is like, okay, maybe it's a fluke. Twice is like, okay. 3 times, yeah, it's becoming a habit. Just like that's why in business, especially if you're going for funding and stuff like that, this is totally off topic, but they once you're in business for 3 years, you've been in business for 3 years, you start to become less of a risk because, oh, you're actually serious about this. Like 1 year in business, oh yeah, you're gonna fail. 2 years in business, okay, maybe they might be serious about it. 3 years, okay, they're starting. It looks like they're actually trying to keep this thing going, right? So it's that mentality. I found a really good quote. So coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. So, and that was, I think, yeah, it was Henry Ford that said that a long, long time ago. But it still resonates because, yeah, coming together, it's beginning, you know, but then staying together, that takes work,
Yeah, it
right?
does. In anything, yes.
And anything, yeah, relationships, business, whatever, it takes work. And, but then working together, like successfully working together, that is that is success, right? That is a part of success, or it's success in itself. But if you can
It's
figure out how to
definitely,
work together successfully.
yeah, and that's the thing, like, so recently I was talking about Jesse's challenge for speaking, and one of the questions he asked along the lines of what do you think, like something about success basically, right?
Mhm.
And everyone's success is going to be different.
Mhm.
No one person's success is exactly the same.
Right.
Society will tell you success is, you graduate, each whatever year of school and progress to college, and you graduate out of college with a bunch of debt usually, and go on to now this career, and then you get the house and the kids and the family and all, right? Like that's successful. That's what they tell you is successful. That may not be for everyone.
Right.
And then they tell you if that's not for you, then basically you're unsuccessful. You know, I don't think so,
No,
but
I don't
we
think
all
so either.
have
I
our
think that's
definition of what success is, and it could be anything, right? Like to me, success is not giving up, right? Keeping going. You don't want to do the exact same thing over and over that you're doing if it's not working, but to recognize when you need to change things up and keep going after whatever it is that you are working on, not what somebody else thinks you should be working on, right? Um, that's success, right? Failing in business and learning from those mistakes and then continuing to going. That's success, you
it
know?
is. It is.
Yeah.
And I would say, yeah, to your point, decide what your own version of success is. Don't listen to what society is trying to tell you what success is. If having a car, a wife and kids and a house with a picket fence is not your freaking idea of success, then that's not your idea of success. You know what I mean? Um, and I know people get a lot of pressure. There's certain families, certain people in your family or whatever. And I know, one of my business partners, um, gets there's a lot of pressure to achieve a certain level of what they think is success, right? Their version of success is where he needs to be, right? Well, he's never fit that mold ever, right?
Kudos to him.
That going and getting a degree and becoming a doctor or a lawyer has never been in the cards for him. That's not what he wanted. And but still a lot of pressure because he doesn't have a super successful business right now, right? As far as monetarily, right? But we're in the beginning phases of it,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it's not you don't listen to what other people are trying to tell you success is. Have your own vision, like I was talking about before, of what success is, and go after that shit. And just give yourself tunnel vision. Don't listen to all the noise. Give yourself tunnel vision and just go for it.
I agree.
It's always like, well, while you're doing it and you're not making a ton of money, everybody calls you crazy. And then as soon as you start making money and becoming successful, all of a sudden now you're a genius, right? And that's the shit you don't hear about,
Well,
right?
I mean, to be fair, most of the people who have come up with some pretty like popular and widely used by many inventions was originally called crazy, right? I mean,
Yeah, why are you doing this? Why you're not making any money? Like, why are you going to continue doing this? You should go do this. You should go do that. Why, go to back to school, you know?
yeah. So,
Don't listen to that shit.
yeah, I don't want to talk about like the negative stuff anymore.
I know you don't. I know. But my point is success is what you define it to be. So have that
I agree.
that
I think
positive vision in
people
your
should
brain.
define their own success,
Mhm.
right? Go after what you feel is successful for you.
And remember, the business is just a vehicle to take you to the actual life that you want. Your life is not there to serve the business. The business is there to serve your life.
I like that.
Mhm.
Good, good point. All right. Let me see. Oh, so I wanted to get more like honest with my wants, right? So I've been dealing with this stuff with my house, right? And my divorce, right? And so I want to find a place that's reasonably priced in a good neighborhood for me and my children to start over. I want, if someone can help me figure this divorce stuff out, the paperwork, for a reasonably priced because we're pretty amicable.
Mhm.
And I want to fix this house, be able to keep the house and fix it up and rent it. I think that's it.
That's good.
Yeah.
And you have have you visualized that yet? Have you put in your mind what that looks like, being successful at that?
I'm not sure that I've quite done that yet,
Do
but
it.
yeah, I'm working
Like
on it.
visualize, like see it in your mind's eye.
Well, you visualize it and I might get it because it seemed to work that
Well,
way with the
that's how we got to do it. Then I will. But you should spend. I'm
I'm
not
just
even
saying,
joking. I'm not
I'm
even
going
joking.
back to yesterday with our podcast, the what you were
Oh
doing.
yeah, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
You thought of
Uh,
something, and I actually
like
created
you
something.
were thinking about pretty similar things, which is awesome. I like that. Right? Like, dang. Kind of scary at the same time.
Yep. Yep.
So,
I know. That's what
let's
starts
wrap
to
this
happen.
up.
Start thinking the same
Yeah,
about.
right? It's like, uh-oh, that's scary. You want to wrap this up? Like, I don't know what you got going on. I mean, I don't have much.
I'm okay. Yeah, I mean, I think we got our message across. I think we're good. We're good to go. Um, I would really like to hear from people on here what people are, how you're defining what your success is, and if you've spent time visualizing what that looks like.
Your wants, yeah.
Yeah, your wants, like actually spent time visualizing it, so that it's real in your brain. Has anyone done that or spent the time doing that? And
A little bit.
well, I want to maybe refresh everybody's brain for anyone who didn't hear me the first time when I talked about this. So there's a book called The Science of Getting Rich, and it's not what you think really. It goes into, in order to get somewhere, some destination, you have to visualize it, make it real in your mind, like so real that you can feel the wood floor under your feet. You can see and the new paint on the walls and the you can visualize the whole mansion that you want. Just an example, right? Or the whole beautiful house that you want. The beautiful car, the whatever it is. It has to be real in your brain. You have to visualize it. Not only you have to visualize it, you have to speak it to the universe, right? And you don't speak it to the universe like, I hope I get this, I want this thing, it'll be nice when I have this thing. No, no, no. You speak it to the universe as if you've already got it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that I'm making $100,000 a month. I've bought my childhood home back. I've got 100 doors in my portfolio, and like whatever, right? You speak those things to the universe as if you already have it and be grateful for it, because the gratefulness connects you to the source of all things, right? It literally connects you to the source. And while you may not actually truly be grateful because you don't have those things yet, don't think of it that way, right? You think of it as if you do, and you actually do trick your brain. And you do become grateful. You actually really do become grateful. And you start thinking about the gratefulness of the things you do have. It's really weird how starts to take shape. But if you do it on a regular basis and you spend what free time you may have actually visualizing that, what you want and where you want to get to, um, it has a transformative effect on your ability to get through the tough times and to stay consistent and to stay on track and to do the boring stuff, right? So all of this helps not only with your mindset, but it helps you as far as taking action as well, right? So, and but it has to be something that you build a habit around it. You got to be doing it on a fairly regular basis, right? I do it when I get up in the morning, right? So if you haven't read the book, The Science of Getting Rich, go get it and read it and understand that I just summarized what it talks about. And that's basically what it talks about.
I like that.
So, yeah, and it does work. It's a subconscious thing. It tricks your subconscious. Well, I shouldn't say tricks. It reprograms your subconscious.
Yeah. What do you, okay, so, um, have you heard of Louise Hay and any of her stuff? She talks about different manifestations and stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
So a friend of mine has been experiencing difficulties with many things for many years.
Mhm.
And I didn't know how to help them anymore, right? Because I feel that they're stuck in victim mode and they have a lot of mindset things going on. And it bothers me that I can't help them because, like, I know how it is to be stuck, you know, in a victim mentality and, have to shift your mindset. And I get it. Like, you're like, what the fuck? What do you mean? I know what happened to me. I know, like, this happened. I know this person did this or whatever, right? Like, but they're just like, they totally like dismissed everything about what, um, the message in her book and her
Oh,
teaching.
interesting. They dismiss it like they think it's BS.
Yeah,
Hmm,
you know,
interesting.
and a lot of victimhood mentality, like I said,
Very common.
you
Yeah,
know, so
super common.
yeah, I don't know how to respond to them, you know. It's difficult for me to know how to respond. I know what worked for me to
Sure.
get me out of the really dark, difficult place I was in.
Mhm.
Um, and I just want the best for many people. I mean, the more we can all think positively about ourselves and love ourselves, and then we can be more loving to others. And I don't know. I think that we can change a lot of things if we start with ourselves first.
Yeah, the problem with, when you live in the victim mindset, you start to become bitter.
Yeah,
You start to become bitter, and that's where the worst place you can get to.
I agree.
That's one of the worst places you can get to is you become bitter and indifferent and dismissive. That's why they're dismissing like anything that you're going to show them while they're in this place is going to be like, oh, that doesn't work. That's never going to work. Well, yeah, of course it's not going to work. If you're telling yourself it's not going to work, it's not going to work.
Yeah, but
Um,
you can't just like change someone's mindset
yeah,
for them.
right.
I want the best for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sending out love for her and anyone else struggling.
That's the best thing you can do is check up on them and say, listen, I'm thinking of you. I miss you. Care about you, and I want you to be okay. Just that little thing can help a lot, right? Oh, someone actually gives a shit about me, right? So, but you got to be careful because the victim mindset a lot of times evolves into this like I need attention, I need empathy from everyone, right? And if I don't get the empathy, I feel worthless kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
like validation.
validation, yeah, yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong, I understand it. Like when you're going through a lot of things by yourself, um, I mean, I think it helps to have someone give a shit about you other than
of
just yourself, you
course,
know? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
um,
But you don't want to
but you don't, yeah,
validate
I know
them.
what you're saying. Like, um, you become reliant on that other person, and really you shouldn't be reliant on someone else to feel that you're worthy of being here, that you're loved. Like you should love yourself regardless. You don't need someone else to validate that you're worthy of love, you know? I mean, that's that's something I had to learn. Like everybody, like going back to conditioning and programming and stuff, you gotta have a significant other, or you know what I'm saying? Like all the time, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Like I had a friend who um always had to have a girlfriend. Like could not like You'd break up with one girlfriend and within a couple of weeks would have another girlfriend.
I
Could
can't say I'm
not
not
be
guilty
on
of
his
that
own.
when I was younger.
Yeah, it's just another thing. It's like, it's another form of like dependency and all that. But it's learn to appreciate yourself and learn to be with yourself. And but it's hard to believe that. It's depending on how far you are in this mentality. It's hard to believe that for yourself without external validation, right? So it is important for you to for people that like that to reach out to them every so often and be like, like just thinking about you, how you doing? I care about you. I want you to be okay. Um, that helps with that a little bit, but you know, that's one of the most powerful things as a human being is learning to care about yourself and learning to be with yourself and not have to always have someone else tied to you, right? If you're not good on your own, you're not going to be good with someone. And I firmly believe that,
I
right?
agree.
Um, because and again, what my friend would do is exactly that. He would not feel valid unless he had this other person there. But he, at the same time, was in those relationships, he was freaking useless.
Yeah.
He didn't have a freaking job. He didn't freaking do anything. Like he was just a pretty face. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that's it. And as soon as the girls figured that out, most of the time they would fucking break up with him.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So yeah, you got
But
just
we all go through our things, you know.
sure,
We all have
sure.
our
Everybody's got
different
their thing.
journey. Like we all have our journey.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be the exact same journey for everyone.
Hmm.
We have to learn and grow, you know. I mean, he went whatever he went through. Hopefully that at least helped him learn and grow as he got older. You know, he had to, for whatever reason, experience that, right? We don't know why. I had to experience a lot of things in my life. I have no idea why.
Me too.
I chose to experience a lot of things in my life. I don't know why, but I did. And I can't take it back, you know, because as we know, what's intermingled in the good is intermingled with the bad too, right? I don't know one without the other. So not all day and every day, like I could be having a shitty time in the morning, but be okay in the evening. Let's, you know, so I'm not going to take away anything that I went through in the past, you know,
Yeah.
or anything I'm going through now, because I
Oh,
know that I am like about to have everything that I've ever wanted
that's right.
because
And
I
by the
didn't
way,
give up.
the only time we have, the only time you'll ever have is right now.
Yeah.
The time tomorrow is not guaranteed, and the time in the past is already gone. So there's no point in living in either of those places. When I say living in this, there's nothing wrong with having future goals and all of that, but I'm talking about like if your
Can't
mind is
live there.
always in the future, right?
Yeah. You can't live there.
You got the time you have is right now. So if you're gonna do something, do it right now.
And yeah, and really truly appreciate that those moments, that moment you're in, something we forget about. And I've gone through this, and I was just listening to something last night that made me remember um something, but we're so distracted by so many things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Yes, we
so
are.
easy to immediately, let yourself get out of the moment you're in.
Yep.
And yeah, so something I was listening to yesterday just kind of reminded me of that.
Mhm.
And I realized when I woke up this morning, I should have been just laying or sitting there and like taking that time to set myself up for the day by meditating, but I wasn't. Like I woke up, I drank some water, you know, I have distractions immediately, right? And like the thing that they were saying is, can you sit in the moment and not be distracted? Like you, even if you're thirsty, don't take that drink away. Even if whatever the cat runs across like the room, don't let it stop you.
Yeah.
Like, and we don't just sit there and not live in that moment. We really do let a lot of things distract us.
You do.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to get better at that because I was really good at that for a little while.
Yeah, you know what I do now? I put my phone so it's not right next to my bed. I put my phone across the room so
Like
that
it
when I get
shouldn't
up,
even technically, our electronics should not be in our rooms. They really shouldn't. They should not be in our room when we're sleeping. It's not good.
no,
I
it's
get it. Like we think we need our phone because an emergency. Now, last night we had tornado warnings around here and stuff like that till wee hours of the morning. So yes, my phone was definitely like right there.
yeah.
So, but that's last night. Every other night there was not tornado warnings, you know, or anything else. Like,
Yeah. My mom is a perfect example. She'll get up um and she'll immediately turn on the news.
mm,
Like literally like roll out of bed, news is on.
no, no, no.
And that is a form of distraction, obviously, but it's a form of blocking the noise in your
Immediately, you're programming your brain with all of this different information, good, bad, otherwise, right? Like, and you needed to give your mind
Exhausting. It's
time.
exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like when I was working, I started my morning off. I can remember like when I was driving the school bus, I got woke up by my CD player, blaring music, and immediately had to jump in the shower. And, I had this is also, I drank a lot of pop. I lived off pop. Okay. So I would grab my pop on the way out the door, for work. Right. So I didn't give myself time for anything. And then immediately I'm at work and driving a school bus of kids,
Mhm.
you know, most of the time it was decent, but like there were mornings where I'm like, ugh,
Yeah, yeah, it's a
plenty
lot.
of time because my
That's a
brain
lot.
didn't get
Yeah.
time to do anything before I had all this chatter,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. But yeah, when you give your brain no time to sort of settle in and to you know, be in the moment, right? And wake up, if you will. I mean, yeah, like and you're immediately turning on distractions. That means your brain is already now is having to go into hyperdrive like the moment you get out, the moment you wake up. And yeah, and it does affect your mood, 100% affects your mood. And that is all just a form of blocking out feelings, emotions, thoughts that we don't want to deal with. That's what that
Yeah.
is. 100% what that is. And if you have to sit there in silence with yourself and your thoughts, some people cannot do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's what this video reminded me of, because I've heard it before and read it and stuff.
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, you're right. I have not like really been just sitting there,
Yeah.
you
Guided
know?
meditation is really, really helpful for that.
No, I know,
Put
yeah.
in a
And I've been
headset.
turning my videos on in the morning, like I listen to different things at night and I listen to different things in the morning. But I don't want like I gotta before I listen to anything, I need to give myself that time where I don't immediately reach for the water and everything else. It's like you really should be giving your that time before you do anything,
Yep.
and sit there. And I realized I could not do it. I was so distracted. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm thirsty, my water. Oh, that like, I'm like, dang, you know, I have to work on this,
Yep.
because
It does. It takes practice. And by the way, it doesn't mean, like if you can't sit there and focus on something, it doesn't mean it's a waste.
no,
Never a waste of time.
what I was gonna get to though, like if we can't do that with ourselves for
Yeah.
that short period of time, then we're unable to give that to others, right?
Right.
And that's the part that really bothered me was I noticed I'm not even giving myself that time. Obviously, I'm not giving people I say I love that time when I'm spending time with them, you know? And that hurt me because I'm like, I know how it feels, you know, to not feel that someone is paying attention, you know? So lots of learning and growing going on,
Yeah. But that's good. That's
you
good.
know?
Yeah, I would say like, keep doing it. Keep doing that until it becomes easier and easier and easier. And there's even times when I'll meditate or whatever, and like I won't, I'll fall asleep or I will get
But that's
distracted.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's all a part of it. So that's okay. Point is, visualize, know what you want, don't get distracted. Have a routine for yourself in the morning that allows you to roll out of bed and into the day with a good mindset. And just don't get distracted. Don't listen to everyone else telling you what you should do and what
What,
success is.
yeah, what their idea of success is. Pick your idea of success, right? I like that. I think that's a good place to wrap it up, Justin. All
Me
right.
too.
All right. Love y'all. Bye.
See you guys.